or the hostess. They'll bring the host or the hostess to help your guests. Okay. They also sell the Habli at events. Next time when you see them at an event, please do support them. Low sites we want that you can buy it. They will come and smoke it. Then are you on the same page? All right. So without further ado, we're going to get started with the interview. And I'm going to introduce our guest of honor. And when I do, when he comes to the stage, it is our tradition that you all stand up and give him a standing ovation. When he's done, you also stand up and give him that standing ovation. Okay? All right. Hold on. Just one mistake, sorry. I ought to share this. Our mission at Startup Grind, is to give startups everywhere the education and opportunity they need to build, grow, and scale their companies. This is our values. Value number 1, we believe in making friends, not contacts. So what I need you to do now, the person sitting next to you, especially for some Motsebi, just turn and introduce yourself to that person. Feel free to tell them, what do you do? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Value number 2, we believe in giving first and not taking. Please ask that person, what can you do for them? No, not what can you do for me. What can I do for you? We are giving. We're not taking. We are giving. All right. If you promise them that you're going to help them, whatever you can say, if you please keep that promise. Lastly, we believe in helping others before we help ourselves. All right. Thank you. Now allow me to introduce our guest of honor, Mr. Matome Rapetsoa. Mr. Matome Rapetsoa is an individual focused on achieving all the goals that he sets out. Early life and education. Matome Rapetsoa was born and raised in Limpopo, South Africa. He started his career in the arts at a very young age, becoming a radio actor at the age of 6 and a stage actor at 12. His entrepreneurial journey includes founding Mahuma Group in 2005. Matome founded Mahuma Group with divisions in media, events, hospitality, construction, travel consulting, mining, and security services. Challenges faced. Matome faced setback in his entrepreneurial journey, including this that I'm not going to mention now. Despite the challenges, he persevered and remained determined. Social responsibilities and philanthropy. Matome Rapetsoa Foundation. He founded the Matome Rapetsoa Foundation, focusing on industrial theater and health awareness campaign, especially in Limpopo and other provinces. Supporting girls soccer team. Matome supported the Mito Stars girls soccer team by providing branding for their kids, additional gear, and even addressing issues such as menstrual health and winter clothing. Assisting in rebuilding Ndini family house. Through MFR, Matome handed over a total of 100,000 rand to the family, which was raised through the project. In addition, the family also received a total of 80,000 rand from the community, food, clothes, and building material. Contribution to the arts industry. Legacy of Mahuma Paul Rapetsoa. Matome is the son of Mahuma Paul Rapetsoa, a renowned actor, playwright, director, and producer. Matome continues his father's legacy by honoring him through various initiatives, including theatrical productions. Industrial theater. Matome is a prominent figure in industrial theater, producing plays with corporate messages through his company, Mahuma Group. He crafts plays that appeal to the corporate market and addressing social and economic issues. Education and talent development. Mahuma Institute for the Arts. Matome established the Mahuma Institute for the Arts, aiming to address economic disparities within the arts industry. The institute offers comprehensive training and development programs for aspiring artists, emphasizing inclusivity and accessibility. Values and vision. Some of his values and vision include social impact. Matome's work reflects his commitment to social responsibility with initiatives aimed at uplifting communities and addressing societal issues. Entrepreneurial vision. He envisions expanding his companies and creating job opportunities for youth, contributing to the fight against unemployment. Matome Rapetsoa's journey exemplifies resilience, social consciousness, and a dedication to both entrepreneurship and the arts, leaving a lasting impact on his community and the broader society. Aspire to inspire before you expire. Matome Rapetsoa. Ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, if you can remain standing, as I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome onto the stage Matome Rapetsoa. Have a seat.
Thank you. Hey.
My chief.
Abuti, how are you?
Okay.
Tobela. I can't tell over much.
Today the spotlight is more.
Yeah.
So no
I'm humbled. Thank you for hosting us. I'm in Matome Rapetsoa. That doesn't only represent me, but everyone that I actually cross paths with every day.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for hosting us. We are humbled, and we do hope the engagements will actually bear fruits.
Hopefully. We are very honored to have you here as well. So I see when you approached here, they are busy screaming, chief, but also there's some blank spots. To those of you who don't know who Matome Rapetsoa is, can you tell us who is Matome Rapetsoa, according to you?
Yeah. Matome Rapetsoa is a boy born in Limpopo, Polokwane Hospital, Mahwelering, to two phenomenal parents, Mr. Mahuma Paul and Mrs. Flora Maliseka Rapetsoa, some odd years ago. Yeah. And around the late 80s, moved to Polokwane from Mahwelering. So I still have a family in Mahwelering. I have a family in Seshego, and in essence, I'm your boy next door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about your background growing up? How was the environment that you were raised in?
It was actually an interesting one. Remember, I was brought up in an environment where having groups of people in my home was sort of it was a norm. Like in the kitchen, we actually thrived on that as one, because my old man would always host an abundance of artists. You can imagine he started his journey in the early 70s throughout until his passing in 2020. So that's the kind of environment that one grew up in from a very early age. I've always been surrounded by artists. I believe that is how actually one was encouraged and somewhat automatically, or rather, I found myself in this artistic environment. I had no choice. There was no way I couldn't actually end up where I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the age of 6, this is quite interesting. At the age of 6, you were what we call a radio actor. Can you take us through that time of your life? How was it?
It was very interesting because then I was a bit clueless as to what was happening. I was just given a script, taken through what to do, did it to the best of my ability. The first radio drama that I remember doing, to the senior audience members here might remember, Oreha. The name of the drama was Oreha, and I was actually the son of a very strict and very cruel woman called Manari, or Pastogwa. I always remember that lady because she made that impact in my life. As Mutogwa, I grew up with that pride of Wapastogwa, and every time I get the opportunity, I would actually, remind people, and we always say that. So that's the kind of environment that one grew up in. It was quite colorful, I must say.
Yeah.
And you can imagine, go to Avela FM, then called Radio Leboa. My father would fetch me from Mahwele Ring because that's where we used to stay, and that's where we were staying when I started out Go Radio.
Yeah.
He would fetch me there around 3ish because every time around 5, every day around 5 in the afternoon, we would start with the radio recording, as most of the actors were working during the day. So we only had time at night, and I would actually join the team at night as the youngest of the youngest. And I remember because the mics, FM 8C, Studio 8C, they are hanging mics, and they actually arrange those mics to the height of your normal individual.
Based on the
so
normal
obviously,
that are supposed to
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was about like 700-800 meters, or rather, 700-800 centimeters higher than I am.
Hello,
So I always had to carry around this crate and cold drink. It was my weapon. It was my weapon of choice. So I knew it was actually something that would elevate my height to some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are actually interesting memories.
And then you then fell in love with this thing you're acting, and that became who you are. Can you? Okay, so when some kids decided to say, "Listen, we are going to play so I can play with other kids," you then decided, "I'm going to hit the stage at the age of 12."
Definitely. Actually, before being involved much on stage, I was more playing with writing. Then I think from the age of 10. Yeah. And it was very funny because most people would not even remember that I was a ghostwriter because my father was a producer, obviously. So you wouldn't have Brapol saying, like none, that's nepotism. So I used to have what we call pen names. I would use a couple of names, or rather he would bring some of the names. I see one of the names I used to actually use in one of the dramas. And you can imagine, from that age, I was able to start generating my own sort of pocket money and from time to time. Because then I think it was paying about 300, 400, 500 rand. It was a lot in those kind of times, you know what I mean? Then around the age of 11, 12, that's when I was introduced to stage with the first production, The Trap. Some of our audience members will remember, they used to call it Watch the Trap. Yeah. It was a stage play that was launched in 1990. I was 13 at the time. Yeah. And it went on to travel a number of places, including other outside provinces as well. Yeah. So you can imagine, those are the early childhood memories that I have that are quite fond. I'm quite fond of.
Let's pack a little bit more the age of 10.
Yeah.
How was your life at school? I mean, balancing that, having that income, having money, exposed to money at that early age. How was life at school?
I'll tell you the one thing that I was blessed with. Yeah. I had two very different parents in terms of character. Yeah. My parents' characters were quite different and complemented each other to a point that I was actually able to remain grounded. Yeah. I got heart and humility from my father. And then I got discipline and the capacity to think more about tomorrow than today from my mother. So every time I would be tempted to do something following my father's character subconsciously, my mother's character would kick in and say, Imran, tomorrow you're going to actually have to look back and be proud of what you did.
Yeah.
So I think I was actually blessed in that regard, because every time, one was obviously everyone would make mistakes from time to time, but most of the time you'd be able to apply yourself before committing any mistake because of the kind of lessons that one learned from home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's very interesting, because I would imagine or you'll blow the 500 rand in a day. So now let's move to the stage play then. When you then become acting on stage, how was at an early age? How was the experience for you?
It's heavenly. I'll tell you the difference between radio and stage. Radio is theater of the mind. You know, you get to play with your character, but remember, you're creating a face for the listener wherever they are.
Yeah.
With stage, it's immediate. The difference is that with radio, but Apollo can always say, cut. I didn't get the emotion quite as much as I wanted. Let's try it that way. You can actually have like 3 or 4 or 5 recordings of one scene. But with stage, you make a mistake, it's done.
People are watching.
Yeah, it's done. So you learn the art of self-expression there. You learn the art of presence of mind there on there. And that's what I actually teach some of the artists that I direct to this day, that it's very important to be present in the moment.
Yeah.
Don't just portray the character. Be the character. That way, you are able to follow the scene as if you are actually in that. That actually brings about the issue of supporting your co-actor naturally.
Yeah.
So stage is quite challenging, but it's a beautiful world, believe me. It's just that I haven't been on stage in a while. That is why I'm feeling quite funny now. But I'm warming up to it.
So, what were some of the things that you learned both from being a radio actor, and this includes being exposed to different people, different characters, and what you took from each and every person? Because every now and then when you interact with people, you take something from each and every person. So what were some of the things that you learned from them, being on stage, being in radio, that you can say you stayed with those learnings up until today? They made you who you are.
Passion, passion, the drive. Not all of us are really passionate in terms of the performing arts industry. There are different kinds of performers.
Yeah.
There are those who want to perform for fame, obviously. There are those who want to perform for the income of it. There are those who want to perform just because it fulfills them.
Yeah.
And the one has been exposed to all the types of artists and whatnot. And I can tell you, there's nothing that beats passion. When you feel fulfilled and complete because you are actually on that particular kind of stage where you feel you are able to engage with your audience and interact, and you get to change someone's life, even if it's one person that you actually help, achieve a certain positive thing, it goes a long way. So the issue of passion, the issue of dedication, the issue of drive, the issue of, being rooted within what it is you're doing, there's no other feeling I feel compared to that.
Yeah. Wow. That's something else, eh? So now, with all this, with the love that you have for acting and being on stage as an artist, you decide to tap onto something that is, hey, not many people go for, entrepreneurship. You decide to jump from the art or being an artist full-time and to be a business person. You create what you call Get Down Productions. You start Matome Group, you start all these divisions. Can you tell us the journey there of transitioning from being an actor to becoming an entrepreneur in the art industry, to be more specific?
Yeah, that's one hell of a journey. Eh? I think the fact that I was accustomed to financial discipline from an early age contributed a lot to that, as well as observing my father's journey through the arts. And that's where one realized that, passion is all good. Passion, drive, determination, all that. But at the end of the day, you need to also realize that there are people who are involved in that environment you actually create. So that is, I think, what may have motivated one to also consider the issue of entrepreneurship very seriously, because one wanted to prove to the world. My father pushed theater, I think, for well over 2 to 3 decades before he passed. He passed being a staunch artist, and he believed in that, and he lived that, and he breathed that. And like most artists that we've seen in the history of arts in South Africa, he was more in it with for the love of it, and nothing else. And I've seen my father, but remember, he was running theater productions and at the same time working for the SABC. I can't tell you how many times I've seen my mother angry at the old man because some of the salary can't be actually reported upon because it ended up on the production side of things. Remember, at the time there was an issue of your commercial theater. We come into Library Gardens, it's 20 rand a ticket, and then you've got about 200 people coming to see a show. You calculate that. It doesn't even come to
commercial theater.
That's commercial theater. That's when you actually now go to the halls, and then that's what my father was actually doing more. And the reality is, my dad never really made money out of what he loved. He just did it because it's something that made sense to him. And hence I'm saying I got more of heart and humility from the old man because that's what he was all about. He was all about, let's get this done. Whether we are getting paid, whether the money is enough, that's not a problem. Let's just get this done. We love what we do. Let's do that. And then the old lady would come back and say, but at the end of the day, you still need to actually have a sense of those people that we are working with. You know what I mean? So that's a kind of history that one always, prides himself upon.
So I can say the passion, you took the passion from him mostly.
I think I was born with a passion. I think I was born with a passion, but more of the passion's injection towards, being a staunch artist and moving forward was definitely from my old man. And also from the support that he got from my mother. And, from someone that doesn't have an artistic background whatsoever, being a teacher, she actually had to find herself supporting this gentleman, not even knowing whether this thing is actually headed somewhere or not. And to this day, I feel myself and all other artists that are actually running who have been blessed enough to, have him as our tutor over the years. We still owe him that much to actually show that it was not for nothingness. It was all for something. Hence, we keep on pushing, even as Mahuma Group, as Get Down Productions, and all the other production houses of guys that are actually coming from Brapol. The main aim is to ensure that wherever he is, he realizes that it was not for nothing.
So you mentioned something like the commercial theater, commercial theater, where your father was making money through that, or was using that as part of his means of revenue at some point. With that said, with that as a background, one would see it as a business, obviously. There's this misconception or misunderstanding about what Mahuma Group is and what other, the Get Down Productions and all the companies that you founded and where they come from, basically. So I want you to just clarify that or explain that to me, because there's some people generally in Limpopo that believe that you took the company from your father, that you inherited the company Mahuma. Can you just iron that for me today? What is Mahuma Group and...
Okay. After tertiary, I did a short stint at the SABC, and that's when my old man was starting to rehearse Get Down, the play. Kitsona. Most of the audience will remember that. And I joined the rehearsal session, Get Down, at the time, the year 2000, I think. And when it was launched, I was actually part of the cast. Together with Mr. Fitli Malachi. I think I saw him here. He's one of our production managers at Mahuma Group. And we launched Get Down. And that is where Get Down, the name, comes from. Get Down was a stage play, a musical stage play about the culture of learning. So it used to travel a number of schools across different provinces, basically encouraging learners to learn and teachers to teach. You know what I mean? And it was through that production that one understood exactly the kind of development-focused individual Brapol was. So in 2002, when one decided to go independent, I remember sitting him down and talking to him about the name Get Down, asking him, man, Brapol. I called him Brapol. I think I've been calling I called my father Brapol from the age of 5. I mean, everyone wouldn't be saying Brapol in studio, Brapol, and then when I was this one, it doesn't. We are all artists in that environment. So I set Brapol down, and I remember vividly asking him, man, I would like to go on my own. But what I need from you is a blessing to use the name Get Down as the name of the organization I'm about to launch. Because Get Down Productions actually came about 2 years before Mahuma. Yeah, before Mahuma Group, then Mahuma Arts and Communications. Okay. So I got the blessing from Rapol. Then all arrangements I made, went and did some registration. At the time, I remember social development. You still had to go there to register. You had to go there, get the forms. No, there was nothing. You have to now look for money, get money for taxi, go to Pretoria, go there. They tell you, no, the person is not at work today. You have to wait. Now you wait for the next day, you get forms, you go and fill the forms, you go back, they're looking for your ID is in Limpopo. You have to now catch another taxi to Limpopo. You know, those kind of...
What year was this?
That was 2002.
Okay, yeah.
Then eventually Get Down Productions was registered formally in 2003.
Yeah.
That's when now it all started, to be very honest. That's when now one started running around the departments. Health, I remember health was one of the main departments I was actually focusing, because at the time, one was focusing on disseminating information around HIV and AIDS. Yeah. That's when HIV was fairly introduced in the mind. Everyone was like, afraid of AIDS and whatnot. Yeah. So one wanted to create something that would actually conscientize our people on the ground in the language that they speak, using the cultural dynamics that they understand, to communicate with them, to understand how to go about dealing with dynamics around HIV and AIDS. That's how Get Down Productions was actually, started in 2003. Then we ran with programs. The bus story you were telling me about earlier actually happened in the second year of our organization, where one used life savings to, that's another story that we'll discuss as we move further. Yeah. Now, in 2005, I now realized that with the NPO, because Get Down Productions was what we call non-profit organization that works with government, one realized that you can only do so much with an organization. There are certain things you can't actually tap into. Only when you own a company can you do those things. That's where now Mahuma comes in. Mahuma, the name, it was initially Mahuma Arts and Communications. And I'll tell you, I'm very sensitive about names. I'm very sentimental about names. The name Mahuma comes from my father's great-grandfather. And the reason why Mahuma was actually relevant for me to utilize was that the story behind Mahuma, the actual Mahuma that my father actually called his great-grandfather. We are told that in his village at the time, Butogwa, Mahuma was the only old man in his village who owned two, I don't know how to, loincloth, those things that we wear, the leather things that they used to wear back in the day. You remember the cultural leather, sitsiba. So he's the only one who actually owned two sitsiba, whilst everyone else owned one. So every Sunday, the women would now wash the tsiba chabanna babona. And the sitsiba being letlalo would take about 2 days to dry. So it means in the morning on a good summer day, so it means for the Sunday and the Monday, the men would not necessarily be able to go outside because it's really chilling. So they would have to stay in their huts and be patient. Their huts in terms of the tag. And Mahuma was the only old man who would now just give his wife one of the tzivas and then take another, the extra one, and continue to go out and hunt. You know what I mean? So that is a story that, I found very fascinating when one had to name the company. Then I realized I need to name a company that speaks more about being prepared, more about being knowledgeable, more about creating more wealth of information for the masses out there. That is what informs Mahuma as the name of the company. Initially, it was Mahuma Arts and Communications between 2005 and 2014 until we remember, it's very important to focus on what you need to achieve before you start thinking about, going out and expanding and all that. And that's what we did for those years. Until 2014, when we now actually realized, we are now ready to actually expand into other fields. That's how Mahuma changed now from Mahuma Arts and Communications to Mahuma Group, which now hosts an array of service offerings.
Sure. That's an interesting story, hey? So, I've been in business for, I think, since 2014. I've been trying to start business, and I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs. And one thing that I'm certain about is that entrepreneurship is a difficult journey. It comes with some challenges, and it's very heavy. So I want to go back to 2004, 2 years after you founded Get Down Production. You took your life savings and then you bought a 23-seater minibus and a sound system.
Yeah.
24 hours after that investment, it got involved in a terrible accident.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you feeling at that stage when you received the news?
Ish.
What happens after that? How did you still stay in business after such a challenging experience? Can you take us through that?
I think those are some of the lessons that one learns as an entrepreneur. Patience.
Yeah.
Patience, being financially savvy, and always expecting the worst.
Yeah.
That is why I think my father's character kicked in when that bus was bought, because one was too excited to see the bus on the road and the bus doing what it's supposed to do. I remember it arrived. I actually brought the bus in from Gauteng.
Yeah.
It arrived on the Friday, just February, I don't remember the date. And the Saturday we had a show at Dendron Primary School in Bloberg,
Yeah.
Bochum.
Yeah.
So all what one was interested in was to get the bus to Limpopo, and then it leaves from Limpopo to Dendron.
Yeah.
So because the bus was bought cash, as you rightfully said, the bus, the instruments, the trailers and all that, there was no pressure for insurance. You know, when you buy a vehicle using a bank, you can't actually take a vehicle out of to the dealership without insurance.
Yeah.
But when you buy it cash, it's your choice. So when they asked me, Emma, aren't you insuring the bus? I said, no, we'll come back to insure it on Monday. When I'm rushing to a show, that was my father speaking. Because my heart was Coco Dendron, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we brought the bus here, none of those things were insured. I remember the Tebo Wantini was there. She's somewhere in the midst of our production manager at Mahuma Group now.
Yeah.
She is one of the few people who's been with me for more than 2 decades, you can imagine.
Yeah.
So we arrived on the evening of Friday. Then the Saturday, because one was still very tired, I told the group, no, go, I'll find you there. I should be coming through in about 3 hours.
Yeah.
So they made that accident. They made that accident at Mahodu, Haramwan. Wawon. And unfortunately, I think that guy was trying to avoid a donkey on the road and whatnot, so it swerved off the road, it rolled, and it was beyond repair. You can imagine. Sure. Now, I had about 18 people in hospital. Some very badly injured, some not so injured, but all of them, you can imagine, all the families were saying, Matum, what happened? Matum, what happened? So that's one situation that actually taught one a very hard lesson. To really always expect the worst, and to always understand planning is quite vital. As an artist, as an entrepreneur, as whatever it is you want to be in life, make sure you plan and you understand the dynamics attached to what you actually choose as a career path.
Yeah. So you overcome that challenge,
Yeah.
and then you decide, listen, I'm going to stick to this entrepreneurship. You push, and then you are hit with more challenges. SARS come knocking.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
One was, as artists and as producers, as directors,
Yeah.
we end up believing so much in what we do that we forget that we are individuals who need to also exist within certain paradigms.
Yeah.
You end up living for the project. Mm-hmm. You end up, whatever you do, as long as projects keep running, as long as artists are well off and you keep running, the rest I'll deal with. And I think I fell into that trap because you end up not even being able to think of filing your returns or keeping the receipts. You just pay as long as they go. Pay as long as they go. Shortly thereafter, it was I think around 2011, 2012, somewhere there. Yeah. Then SARS came through and said, Imran, you're owing us 900,000 rand. And you can imagine at that time, you don't even have 20,000 to your name.
Yo.
So, and I think the worst thing with SARS then, I don't know if they're still doing that now. I haven't been on the wrong side of SARS since then. That was one of the terrible lessons I learned, but it brought me to this place that I'm in now. Yeah. They actually garnished. So whenever you get any income, as Mahuma or as Matome, they automatically take it until it actually covers that debt.
They don't wait for you to come and pay.
No, they don't wait for you. What if you don't come? So believe me, it took one a good 7-8 months of recovering, because now you can't pay. I can't pay for my house. I can't pay for my car. I can't pay for anything. I'm just thankful that I'm able to survive and I'm able to still do what I love. But you know, another important thing I think is that I've always had a very supportive structure, family structure, from my mother to my sisters to my artists, because those are family members of mine. I've been with most of these guys for years. And you know, when you have that kind of a structure that believes so much in what you are about and the vision and all that, it makes it worthwhile. You know, even as you're struggling, you struggle with them reminding you, don't worry, man, this is just a chapter. I remember there used to be in Tatum Kumani, he passed on Lena some years back, and he would always remind me, when I dreamt of you, don't worry about that bus. I dreamt of you and wearing uniforms and doing that. We are going there. Keep fighting that good fight. You know, those kind of positive encouragements actually kept one afloat. As much as you'd feel like giving up at some points, but you remind yourself the number of people that are dependent on you emotionally, not even financially only, but emotionally and otherwise. And you realize that there's a bigger goal that you're actually pushing towards. It's not only about you, but it's about everyone else behind you.
Interesting. I would love to have this conversation forever. You are a very interesting person. But I've got only 1 minute remaining.
Oh, okay.
And in this minute that is remaining, I want you and I to play a game.
All right.
It's an interesting game. It's rapid fire questions. I'm going to give you 1 minute to answer 10 questions. I don't want you to think.
Okay.
Whatever comes to your mind, first thing that comes to your mind, I want you to just give me an answer.
I might need some help from you guys, eh? Mom Chishin, I might need help from you guys, so listen carefully.
Then I'm going to time you. Okay. Chiefs, Pirates, or Sundowns?
Chiefs.
Sharp nose or sneakers?
Sneakers, bro.
What song can you repeat from here to Joburg?
If I could turn back the hands of time by R. Kelly.
Favorite time of the day?
Morning.
Vintage or new?
Vintage.
3 things you can't live without.
My sneakers, my watches, and my belts.
Biggest regret?
Not being able to do what I did when I should have.
1 thing you can't do.
I can't live without art.
If you were an ice cream, what flavor would you be?
Mint, chalk mint.
And lastly, which movie makes you laugh the hardest?
Coming to America, the original version.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Matome Rapetsoa.
Yeah, that was tricky.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
I'm going to need you to remain on stage.
Oh, okay.
Or do you want to be relieved for a minute or two?
Nah, no, anything is fine with me.
You cool. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to move on to the... Oh, you want to give him a round of applause again? Please do. We're going to move to the... I don't know if Aus Rachel or Konofit. Aus Rachel? Oh, there. So we're going to move to the next session of our show or our business seminar, which is our fireside chat. And joining me on stage, I will have Takudzwa Masaya, TK, who is from Shine Bright Entertainment, as well as Mama Rachel Matabane, yes, Matabane, who is coming from Social Enterprise Development Agency, famously known as CEDA. Okay, so before I call TK to stage, Mama Rachel has a small presentation just to tell you a little bit about CEDA, how CEDA can be able to help you as a small business. She's going to, I don't know if you're going to come on stage or if you can just come on stage so that, yeah. So please give a round of applause to Mama Rachel Matabane from Small Economic Development Agency. You can just, ukanemela mo pele mama. Yes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for hosting us to this fabulous event for arts and crafts people. I think we are honored as CEDA to be part of the event. Mr. Matome, once again, thank you for being part of the legacy. My presentation is very short and straightforward. I heard my brother saying from social development. No, we are Small Enterprise Development Agency. I'm coming from CEDA, which is Small Enterprise Development Agency. I'm so thrilled. I had Mr. Matome when he was talking about patience. He said in business you need to have patience, you need to plan. Most important points that are mentioned also tap into that. CEDA, we are a government agency under the Department of Small Business Development. Our mandate and our role is to support SMME, small, medium, micro enterprises. This means we cut across, though we are looking at profit-making businesses. So as CEDA, part of what we do in terms of assisting SMME, we start with business registration. This year, 2023-2024, we have been mandated to assist at an early stage where we help with business registration, meaning if you come to us, then you say you want to start a business, then you didn't formalize it, we're going to help you to formalize it with CIPC. We all know that businesses are being formalized or legalized with CIPC for registration, which is for free. Normally, when you go and register, it will cost you more if you go to other private businesses, 500, 800, whatever. But then when you do it direct, is 275. But then with us, then we do it for free. If you have a business, then you are interested in formalizing it, registering it, so that you can partake at the benefits. Okay. Besides that, we also tap into assisting SMME in terms of feasibility or viability, testing the viability of the business, idea evaluation. We have got tools that we use within our institution to help diagnose as to whether the business, which stage it is, so that we can know which other means and resources to help in terms of business. So we offer also business training, business skills training, as we call them, like how to start a business, how to manage a business, basic business skills. We offer things like financial management, marketing. We also offer costing and pricing to be able to cost and price accordingly, according to the market. So those are the trainings that we do offer. Besides those, we also, at least now, privileged to have some technical skills training that we do offer to our SMME. For those maybe people in other sectors, but then it will need to be a group that we need to assess first and realize that yes, there's this need that we can partner with other stakeholders to make sure that those people will get training to strengthen their business or to help them in terms of quality to produce whatever that they want to produce in terms of quality. Beside that, we also assist in terms of access to market, which is, I believe, most of the people in arts, they will tap into that. We looking into various business marketing tools that our businesses lack or our people need. Just for example, developing a website if you are running a business, producing your flyers, your brochures, any tools that will help you. And because these days, then because of technology, we are also tapping into that. We help with online marketing so that we can make sure that businesses grow and they become competitive. So part of the things that we do assist small businesses, as I mentioned, with marketing, access to market. We also facilitate access to funding, though we don't fund because we are not a funding institution, it's not our mandate. But then we facilitate access to funding. There are various programs that small businesses can tap into in terms of accessing funding. The reason being, maybe you want to purchase an equipment or anything that will help you in production. So there are programs that normally comes seasonally, or they just come when we are mandated to say, go and assist small businesses so that they can tap into this program. Like previously we had Asset Assist. It was a program that was running, and then it allowed everybody to partake so that you can be able to go and access equipment or resources that you need for your business. So what normally requires is a business that is registered, legalized, like tax clearance for compliance. Some of the things, it will be the cash flow or the financial projections, which is we are also mandated to help for somebody who's unable to do that. So those are the programs that we have. I'm speaking directly to people in the arts, and some of the things that we have as we work with other stakeholders. We have Cedar Jewelry Incubator that assists people in arts. Those who are interested in jewelry, they can be incubated with Cedar Jewelry Incubator, such that they are being incubated until the day they go and start a business. The good part is that they will handhold you and also assist you to purchase equipment that you're going to utilize to start a business. And the good part is that you start a business while you are still there. They will help you in terms of accessing trainings and other necessary resources that are needed. So as CEDA, we are there to assist SMME at large to make sure that there must be growth, so that to make sure that the business becomes sustainable, and to make sure that those businesses, at least they will employ more people, because we know that we are facing high unemployment. So beside that, we also help with business planning. We also help in terms of business support. We are looking into assisting with, what do we call? Mentorship and coaching. If you are running a business, then you are struggling in your business, you don't know what is it that is giving you a challenge, you come to us, we'll diagnose them so that we can appoint a mentor to help you, so that there must be a difference in your business. So as CEDA, we are mandated to assist you if you are running a business. If you are interested in starting a business, we'll help you to start a business, okay? I hope I'm audible enough, because I'm speaking directly to people in the arts. Besides the other services that we offer, we have also another incubator in Dombiselega, as we used to call it, in Skukune. We have, though it's looking into the biofuel, but that's another incubator that we have that do assist small, medium, micro enterprises. So as CEDA, yes, there are other leg of sectors that we focus at. I mentioned just the automotive part of them, those who are doing the chisanyamas and all those things. But as we are here, that's why I'm speaking directly to us. And those are the programs that we offer, and our doors are opened. Maybe last but one, I've just circulated the attendant register where I got the POPI Act. That's why we give you each one the form. Make sure you also write your email address on that form. It's very important for us. It's not there mentioned where you write an email address, but write also an email address. And we also have a portal these days where everybody can access us at your luxurious time. If you are interested in our services in terms of getting assistance, you type in or you go to https and then /cedar.kasune.io. Then you'll be able to register there and start a journey with us as a client. Then we'll be able to contact you, to communicate with you, and see how we can help you. Okay? Thank you very much for your time. Just straightforward.
Yes, dear. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet Takudzwa Masaya, the visionary creative director at Shine Bright Entertainment, a beacon of innovation. Thank you. Le fela pelo mona ne. Takadzwa Takudzwa. Wa fela pelo bona. There you go. He's a beacon of innovation and excellence in the world of media and entertainment. Takudzwa's journey is one of the unapparelled creativity and ingenuity, with a passion for storytelling that transcends borders. He has carved his path as an award-winning film editor and director, leaving an indelible mark in the industry. His portfolio boasts collaboration with renowned South African and international brands such as Xiaomi, Budweiser, Castle Light, and Audi Rockstar, elevating their narratives through his cinematic vision. TK has had the privilege of working alongside prominent figures in the industry, including the likes of Mosley and AKA, shaping their visual identities with his unapparelled expertise. As the creative director at Shine Bright, TK continues to push the boundaries of visual storytelling, seamlessly blending videography, photography, graphic design, and brand development into captivating narratives that captivate audience worldwide. With an unwavering commitment to excellence and a relentless pursuit of innovation, TK Masaya, or Takudzwa Masaya, is trailblazer, inspiring the generation of creatives to dream big and reach for the stars. Ladies and gentlemen, Takudzwa Masaya.
Hello guys, how are you guys? Yeah, that was a profile. That was a profile. I didn't know that you can write it like that.
It's on the website. So he's going to tell us a little bit about Shine Bright, and then he's going to join us on the panel. If you can just do it in 2 minutes, I would really appreciate that.
Hello guys, how are you? Good. My name is Takudzwa Masaya. They call me TK at the studio, and I'm from Shine Bright. I'm the creative director of Shine Bright. So Shine Bright is an entertainment company. We are by 24 Grobler Street. And we have a studio, one of the biggest studios in Limpopo so far, I think. And we have our own stage, we have sound. So basically what you can do at Shine Bright is this: you can come as an artist, then we can record, you can organize shows for you. Basically we can do everything for you as an artist. And it's one of the opportunities that we have around Limpopo and Polokwane to share this. And yeah, if you want more questions, let's just discuss and we know each other. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can I please have a roving mic or two, just for the audience? So, as we said that what we do, we call startups and then we put you guys in a room with subject matter experts. These are subject matter experts in different fields, but they are all linked or aligned with the arts, okay? So if you guys have got any question, you'll simply raise your hand and then I will recognize you. Then you will ask any of the panelists a question, okay? But before I give you a platform to ask questions, I have a few questions of my own that can help to impart knowledge to you guys. Starting with Mama Rachel. Why do you think an artist can I have another? All right. Why do you think an artist needs to be registered as a business? Why is it important for an artist to be registered as a business?
I believe that an artist, when you are an artist, you are already in business because you are offering a service to the community or to someone else. Whatever that you are doing, you are rendering a service. So you need to register and be able to run that business in order to make profit. So in business you are talking about making profit. It's not charity, but you are rendering a service.
So how does one go about registering themselves as an artist? By an artist, we mean it in its broad sense. You can be a photographer, you can be a painter, the artist, right, generally. You can be a jeweler, as you mentioned earlier, or a musician, or anyhow, or a DJ, for that matter. How does one go about registering as an artist?
First, as Mr. Matome mentioned, it's very important to identify the business name that you want to be known of. Because firstly, you will need to have the target market, the people that you are targeting, that you need to understand them, what are their needs, because you are going to meet people's needs. So you need to be able to identify the suitable or the relevant name that will remain in their minds. And it must be something that is related to what you offer, because your service or what you are rendering to them, it must remain in their minds or in their hearts. So you need to be able to make marriage between your service and your name. Then when you register, you are formalizing that to make sure that it is legalized, you are operating professionally, and you'll be recognized, and you'll be able to charge a fee on whatever that you are rendering.
Okay. So I'm going to switch over to TK. You've worked with artists, and you understand the type of people that they are. I want just to, now that one has registered themselves as a business, I mean, there's so much to do once you do that. There's so much admin work that you're supposed to do. As Mr. Matome mentioned earlier, that he got in trouble with SARS because he neglected that part. So I want to understand, how does one, starting with intellectual property to start with, how does one safeguard the artistic creation, right, and navigating the legal landscape of intellectual property, so that they don't steal that while they are busy having fun and following the passion and the heart, and then someone takes care, steals that away from them. And then before you know it, they say, listen, what you are doing, all that money belongs to me because I own that. How does someone safeguard that as an artist?
That's a good question. In this industry nowadays, there's this organization that can help us through that. And even the introduction of AI nowadays, it makes things easier. There's things like RISA, I think most artists knows about it. And there's some certain organization that you can register and you can upload your music, you can upload your art. Then if someone takes that art or take your music, it automatically detects online. Copyrights, if you know about YouTube, guys. So nowadays there is measures that you can take to avoid your art to be taken away, also to register for those organizations and stuff. But I see also photographers, they also do that, but only on a level of putting a logo on the picture. There's things that you can do in the metadata before you export a picture.
Okay.
You put your information on the picture and stuff like that. So if that picture has been used somewhere, you can say, this is my picture, this is my metadata, I took it. So there's some steps that you have to take to protect your art. There's definitely some ways.
Metadata.
Metadata.
Photographers take note of that, metadata. So just look that up, find out how do you do that, and then that's copyrighting your work.
It's basically it's the same way that you can copyright your music, especially on Spotify. Isn't it nowadays, if someone plays a song, we can go on Shazam, the same technology, but now it's more advanced on pictures now. We can detect whose picture is this and whose picture is not. Also, it's possible.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. Mr. Rapetsoa, you are someone who I think who is best suited to answer this question. How does one monetize his or their creativity across various ventures? Perhaps you can give us strategies that has been most effective with you. How can one monetize their art? Yeah, you've got a mic.
There's an array of channels to actually use. I'll be very honest with you. Hence, I was saying to you earlier that I loved the Vosis interview, remember?
Yeah.
Because what he said was, if you want any advice on how to move forward in this field, the best advice to give you is to not take my advice.
Yeah.
And what he meant was everyone has their own journey to follow. The journey that I followed might not necessarily work for the next person.
Yeah.
But the most important thing remains your conscience, your conscience, your determination, your passion, your drive. You identify different opportunities the more you push towards your craft. The more you push towards what you believe in, the more you get to identify different opportunities. The opportunities that are identified might not necessarily be opportunities that the next person will identify.
Yeah.
South Africa is very lucky because we have an abundance of those opportunities. If you look at corporate now, corporate, you're talking about your mining industry, you're talking about, all those other companies and whatnot, in government and private sector and whatnot. There's a lot of opportunities out there, but it is up to each and every one of us to identify the niche and find a way of following that niche. Let me give you an example where electronic media or digital media is concerned.
Yeah.
We are more of a theatrical kind of a company. We do a lot of industrial theater. Our productions tour across the country on a daily. But then came COVID back in 2020, was it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Then came COVID,
Yeah.
which actually ran for just over a year. So you can imagine, as a production company that relies on the attendance of audience for a living, we took a knock. But one had to now think carefully and quickly on how now to actually use that to the advantage. And that is how, and what actually created or rather gave birth to Mahuma online theater experience. Now what we did was we took one of our productions, recorded on your sort of a DVD kind of format, put it on our YouTube page, and got our audience to now log on to the YouTube page to follow the episodes. So we're still able to reach the audience, but not in your rather conventional manner.
Yeah.
So hence I'm saying it's important to always be 2 steps ahead. And one of the best universities you'll always get is experience. Your best teacher remains experience. You may be having your degrees and whatever, but without experience, you are a mere mortal. Remember, a degree is just paper. We go there, we learn. But it's only when you get exposed to the real world that you get to understand. Some of the things you learned might not necessarily be relevant now. What I learned 10 years ago will not be relevant now. So always keeping abreast with the trends and always keeping abreast with the demands of society and demands of your potential client is what will actually put you head and shoulders above the rest.
So what I gather from you is that one needs to find different means themselves, what works for them, look up things, how can they monetize their creativity by looking up and doing their own research. Because they might employ your strategy, but it cannot, there's possibility that it's not fruitful for them.
Yeah, it's not a sort of a one size fits all kind of approach.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You will identify your niche as much as you go out there. You'll start to understand. There are certain things that I did not know I would be interested in before I went out there and started engaging with different potential clients. The more you learn different challenges out there, the more you understand, okay, maybe I should also try this, maybe I should also try that. Remember, as creatives, you are not a creative only when you perform. You need to also be a creative in nature. Always think of how to do things differently.
Yeah.
Copycats don't actually apply in this kind of fields.
Yeah, you need to be unique and stand out. Interesting. I want to move on to the social media presence. But I want to start with you, Mama Rachel. You mentioned that you also assist entrepreneurs with courses on marketing or developing them in marketing their business, websites and stuff. As a startup, website might not be as important when you start because you still need that small revenue that you get in to keep it. What other ways would you recommend, especially an artist, that they can employ in order to market themselves or expose themselves to the world?
Thank you. Truly speaking, when you are a startup at that stage, the best way to look is within your network. Networking is one of the tools that you can use best to make sure your business or your artwork is known. It's very important. Normally, this is what we do when we are at the marketing session. The first thing, we need people to introduce themselves, their businesses, and also to listen to others and identify who are the people that you can partner with. You know, networking is one of the basic things that's very important at a startup phase. Beside that, you can look at things like your we call them your traditional tools that you can use, where you can be able to approach somebody, whether through your business cards or your flyers, where people can know about you. Even the word of mouth is also one of the tools that somebody can use, because in business, really, it doesn't take a shy person to be in business. You need to break that wall and make sure that you enter where even people say, no, you cannot enter. So those are the simple things that people can do, but I will emphasize more on networking, building networks, very important.
Okay. So while we're still on marketing, and I want to stick to social media marketing to be more specific, I would assume that the likes of AKA, they were not where they are. They did not get to where they were advising network. So it's a poor advice when I top notch. So, and one would really learn a lot from that in terms of social media presence. What's your take on consistency across different platforms as a brand?
So if you understand what is the internet, your life is gonna make it much easier. Basically, internet is someone's computer that is in America that is staying with people's data, right? You're putting information there. So basically what you have to do is like just be consistent. When they say consistent, just saying put more information on the internet so that when people look for you, it's easier. Let me just give you another tip. To open a domain is probably, if you really research, it's like 45 Rand, 50 Rand. Open a domain with your name. It has your name. Log in those websites where you can put your information. Google, just put your name. But the whole idea is this: when people are looking for you or looking for your music, it's easier because your name is in the database. So it's not only about Facebook. You can go on any platform, and if they want you to put a name there, just make sure that your name is there. Hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So basically, internet is the new way to shout out there. Put more information as much as possible, but not your personal information because they'll steal it. But anything that you want to push. So that's the advice that I can give people. And just be consistent and keep on posting and be yourself. And also, mistake that I've found with artists, what usually they do is this: they want to personalize their brand to be them. Yeah. And I bet we don't even know what you do, but on social media there is this that you portray, understand? Yeah. So we are artists. Let's create that persona as an artist. I think you understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Like if you're an artist, people must know that this is an artist. What you see on your page is about an artist, and we see art. You don't expect to see your food that you eat. Yeah, we don't really care. We want to see your art. Yeah. So that's my advice that I can give you. Like, if you have any opportunity to put your name on social media or anyway, I can give you some links where you can put your stuff. I bet if you search Takudzwa Masaya on Google, you're probably going to see me everywhere. But I don't have more than 20,000 followers. I don't have any much. But it's all about just putting information as much as possible. That's advice that I can give.
Yeah, interesting. So there's some people, let's say, they're an artist, go TikTok, John, go Facebook, Victor, just go Instagram, it's another name.
That's a bad idea.
What's your take on that?
So that's what I'm saying, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work because we're not going to find you. We're not going to find you.
Yeah.
For example, at Shambright, we always have events and always get artists. They'll be like, yo, book us. Do you know what we do? The first thing that we do, we go on Google and search. We search. We don't find you. We find you involved in other incident that happened somewhere when people fought. So it's one of those things that you have to make sure that whenever you place your name, be consistent and just like that, yeah.
Okay. The social media presence, Mahuma, is that consistent, and there's constant posting. How do you get that right? Do you have like a plan, or do you just decide anytime you're going to post?
I'll tell you something. As an entrepreneur, and I believed in a code that I read a while ago. If you want to actually move forward in business, have people around you who are actually better at what they do, even better than you at what they do. And that's what one actually did. We have a brilliant marketing team, we have a brilliant multimedia team, and those are the guys who actually own that space. They looked at what we actually believe in, what we actually aiming to achieve. You know, Mahuma Group is a company, as well as Get Down Productions. They are institutions that believe in empowering the disadvantaged primarily. When talking about the working class, we talk about what we call your blue-collar kind of employees, or the disadvantaged. I want to talk to Ntate Ndlovu down in Malamulele. You know what I mean? Those that don't necessarily get information as easier as others. You know, we do have different categories of audiences, and that is where our priority lies. And through that, we realize now we look at the important channels to reach those kind of individuals, and then we reach them at using that platform, like your Facebook, for instance. Facebook is accessible to anyone, whether you are at school, whether you are in a village, whether you are wherever, it's accessible. Hence, when you look at Mahuma on Facebook and Get Down Productions, you'll see there's a lot of activity. Almost every day there are activities, because we are that kind of a company. We have activities almost every other day. The team that is here now, like our live band there, these guys only arrived here like around this particular morning around 1 a.m. and now they are here because of this. And from here, they're still living off to Joburg, and then from there, Northwest. That is the kind of business that we are into. And we believe in reaching our audience on the platform that we know is accessible. I mean, Instagram, we do that. It's all good. But we know that is not where our niche really is, because with Instagram, you need to have machangura to actually get the data. So it's always important to know your audience. It's always important to know your target. But most importantly, as an entrepreneur, surround yourself with people who are actually more knowledgeable than you are, then you'll actually grow.
You know, I like the fact that you guys are speaking the same language, especially when it comes to this issue of marketing. You know, understand your market. You know, remain consistent on your social media platforms. Always make sure that you upload some content so that you are easily to be found, and also understanding who you are dealing with. You cannot be running around on Instagram, or else your target audience, people from the middle class or lower class, because that's where you find your revenue, that's where you find your people, and so forth and so forth. Wow, interesting. I want us to quickly wrap up this marketing thing and move on to the next point, and which is basically, I want to understand, especially yourself, Mr. Matome, you are a creative person. I want to understand how do you balance the creative aspect of your work? Because we had our artist, our picture artist is existing, visual artist maybe, who was starting business, so creative business, we register it, and now we are marketing that artist. Now I want us to understand the business, how do they deal with the business side of things? Yourself, how do you balance the creative aspect of your work with the business side of your business? Particularly in terms of, I mean, seeing that you are managing quite a couple of organizations within your group. How do you balance that?
Working with the best, best of the best.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm working with a great and formidable team who actually are very supportive, who actually understand. I always say, before I'm a son, before I'm a parent, before I'm a partner, or before I'm anything else, I'm Matome, the individual, and after Matome, I'm an artist. You know what I mean? Then I'm everything else. So even my team understands that very clearly. Mahuma Group has got about 200 plus people under its employ. And the reason why we are, I wouldn't say we are successful at that, I would say at least we are coping with that, is that one surrounded oneself with people who are able to, assist in steering this ship towards the right direction, whilst one is able now to have some sort of time to relax and do what one does best, and that is being creative.
Your last words?
In my taking business, I'm a creative guy. I have no idea how this works. That's why I got signed with Shambright, because I'm a creative. That's what he's saying. It's all about a team. There are people that are around me that I know that, hey, these guys they can do it better than me, and I always lead them do it. So just know your team. Just know your team. Just know people you're laying around. Yeah.
Mama Rachel, what's your last words to the audience?
I would say the best way also is to prioritize. You need to prioritize. what needs to be at your face now and then. You need to have your goals, you need to have your objectives, so that you'll be able to check as to whether are you meeting them or not. You know, you go back to your drawing board and check as to whether, am I still at the right track? Am I still hitting the mark? So this will help you to make sure that at the end of the day, you keep the proper network and you'll be able to have distribution channels that are okay. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mama Rachel Matabane from Small Enterprise Development Agency, Takadzwa Masaya from Shine Bright, and Matome Rapetsoa from Mahuma Group. A round of applause. Oh, jeez. Sorry, I was just being cognizant of the time, but in the next 5 minutes, I would like us to have that roving mic. Those of you who've got questions, if you could just stand up, introduce yourself, which company are you coming from? If you're an artist, just tell us what do you do, and then where do you direct your question to?
Actually, like I said, I'm Rosa from Limpopo, as I just want to add criteria. Foundation without bank account, we can open account. We can open and register business. We have to go and open bank account. Doesn't mean we're going to invoice after performance. That invoice, so the active bank account. Let's say the department or tertiary department, impose a cash that perform or even in Mahuma Group. So isha quotation followed by invoice. What do you want invoice? So you already active bank account. Second, we can add a TK. Like I said, as an artist. We are working with Samro, we are working with Samba, Rakwane. I was going to put a push. I say, all as an SABC. Meaning, I have a push Ella, or I do, Ella to speech, you can't work it because you are in you are made to Ella to speech, Rakwane. So it's all pattern. We call it royalties. Ikase pattern also member was sample of sample. Those ones in the collective society. So you must first be a member was sample or was sample. So that whichever way in a you, Palabara or Matome Rapetsoa, Ariel Kana. So, Ariel Kana, so they pattern. Yeah, I have a share where you come over and share, we are a share. It's like a trend. Moshe we are a share, so it is go with the America, Macadona, I'm a story, Ariel Kana, Ogai, it will win. So they pattern. Ogai, you will show. So it's very much important to our banking account. Coming to Mr. Rapetsoa, he mentioned something very much important in COVID-19. We had a very challenging
Good, sir.
My name is Matome. I came here with the London Rehabilitation Center, and I actually have a couple of questions directed to Mr. Matome, right, the Chief Executive for Polokwane, and TK. I am an artist myself. I used to have my music distributed by United Masters, and yeah, I had a really good deal somewhere along the line, and I couldn't sign it. So my first question directed to TK. I see Shine Right. Is it a record label? Is it a record company? And do you sign artists? And if ever I want to reach out to you guys, how do I do it? Do you have any handles, social media handles? Or do you just do I have to pay to record at your studios, or do you guys do a whole thing where you sign artists and have artists under your company?
Okay, cool. Thank you, man. At Shambright, we are entertainment company. We have facilities for studios, so you can come and record with your own producer, or you can use our studios. So basically, we have studios for everything. If you wanna do your movies, you wanna rehearse your songs, or you wanna use the facilities, you can use the facilities. On the other side too, we do sign artists, but we have certain criteria that goes with that. That has to go according to what Shambright wants to achieve at a certain point. So in terms of coming to say you're gonna come, then we're gonna sign you, it really doesn't work like that. We find you, then we're gonna sign you. That's how it works. Yeah, we buy Grobler Street, 24 Grobler Street, yeah.
And do you have any social media accounts that I could follow, or maybe we?
Yes,
can follow?
just search on Google, Shambright Entertainment, then you can get everything there, from our social media handles, from Instagram to Twitter to Facebook. But just search Shambright Entertainment on Google, you can find everything there.
All right, thank you.
Shambright with a Y.
All right,
Yeah, thanks.
Shanghai with a Y. And then to Mr. Rapetsoa, there was a very inspirational backstory you gave us. I'm inspired, truly I am inspired. My question is, do you guys ever plan on writing something or script writing something that can make it to the cinemas, or even like on TV? Because I feel like the potential is there, especially hearing how much work you put in the industry that you guys are working on. And I sometimes write a couple of scripts myself, so seeing you guys actually has been an inspiration. So my question is, do you guys have those kinds of things, or are you planning on having those kinds of things, or I don't know.
Thank you very much for putting that final nail on the coffin. I've been having a lot of pressure where that is concerned. And if my daughter were here, she would be jubilant right now, because we are quite under pressure to do that. And it's exactly something we're going to be doing, hopefully before the end of the year. We need to definitely start introducing Limpopo to the world. I don't think Limpopo is represented on the TV thing as much as it should be. And we will actually be pushing towards that. Hopefully all will go well by the end of the year. Thank you very much for that inspiration that you just given me. Actually, you added on to that, because we have been honestly dealing with a number of messages with my artistic director, Mr. Tobejane, there, where the TV production is concerned. So yeah, look out for that.
Thank you, Tabam Makwaka from Lagak. You also mentioned that you write scripts. Please look out for SAFM script writer. They've got competitions they do every now and then, where you send in your play, and then you can win. And I don't know what they do going forward, but they have that competitions. SAFM. I saw someone at the back. Oh.
Hello. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Darren van Rensburg from Get Down Productions. My question is primarily to Mr. Matome Rapetsoa. Sir, I want to find out from you the importance because we see in the space branding is important, clearly to you. So I want to find out firstly the importance of branding in a company in general, besides the arts factor. And my second question to you is, Mahuma Group has a lot of divisions. You're an artist, and we've all heard in the space that you've been an artist from the youngest of ages. But what makes an artist like a Matome Rapetsoa go into a division like catering, go into a division like construction and events? What goes into that? Thank you very much, colleagues. Darren, get down.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's a very interesting, those are very interesting questions. One, the issue of branding. I'll be honest with you. I live with the belief that image is everything. Hence I said, I got heart and humility from my old man. And humility, like a vote. The power of please, thank you, and I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's on its own speaks a lot about the kind of image you actually hold, whether intentionally or not. And we grew up understanding that. I'm very humbled that I saw the learners from Khaiso here. Image, I can see them with a clean uniform. That is their image.
Yeah.
The guys from Latgak, I know they're very colorful. I can't see the logos, but I can tell you, those guys there, the 3-4 rows are from Latgak Rehabilitation Center in Sesheo. That is what image actually does to you. If you sell yourself enough, and you are radical enough in your brand, brand activation and brand awareness interventions, you eventually have people living what you do. Mahuma Group, for instance, there are times when I just wear my cap, and my caps don't even have the name. It's just this infinity kind of thing.
Yeah.
But one will actually be able to tell that is a Mahuma logo. You can identify it anywhere. And that is how you actually build your brand. That is how you build your business. That is how you build yourself as an artist. One, you don't necessarily have to be arrogant to actually be acknowledged as an artist. You can still be humble, you can still be respectful, you can still be professional and grow at the same time. It happens.
Yeah.
The second one, Mr. Darren, you spoke of how one managed to get into divisions from the background, being an artist. The one thing that we believe in, Mahuma Group, more than anything, hence I spoke of the blue-collared kind of employee level and disadvantaged communities. We believe a lot in empowering. And after we had run Mahuma Arts and Communications for a number of years, we realized the need for supporting services. You can't run an industrial theater without marketing. That's how marketing component came in. You can't run it without media exposure. That's how it came in. You can't run it without your sound and stage to some extent. That's how we have an events unit. You can't run it without having certain audience members or the audience members being fed. That is how catering came in. So almost all the units that we actually have under Mahuma Group are units that are community development focused. Even your construction wing, we are looking at how do we contribute to the upliftment of communities we believe so much in. I always say it's very important for us to be the change we want to see, and we are doing just that.
Interesting. Mr. Darren van Rensburg from Get Down Production.
Oh, it's Get Down Production.
Oh.
Yeah, image, please. Hey. You know, every time he says, young, it's image, by the way.
I thought you were telling me to shut up. There's a gentleman at the back.
Mine is going to be quick. My name is Zila. I'm from Tambo Project.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Your name?
Zila.
Zila.
Or Silo Soroa.
Thank you, Maina.
Yeah, I'm from Tambo Project. We are a recording label. We've got some of our artists is Dark, and Press used to be with us, and maybe Chipkins, and all on them. All I'm asking from Shai, please book our artist. And then I'm gonna go, my question goes to Mama Wasira. We make events, and we have made a couple of big events here in Polokwane, all over the country. I just wanna know, like CEDA, does it support the business models of events? And also, how do you support the business of our artists as well? Because I know CEDA does other businesses, but I've never had anyone from this sector of events and artists being supported by CEDA. So I just want to know, do you have any facilities or any branch that works with that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for the question. As CEDA, we work with various sectors of businesses. Arts and crafts is part of that. And just to mention, we were able to assist Levo Mphahlele. And it matters if people approached us as CEDA, because sometimes we don't have maybe the time to go out and identify people, but people, when they come to us, visit our offices and ask for assistance, that's how we're going to assist them. Just to mention, as I was saying, Levo Mphahlele is one of the artists. She's a singer. We assisted her when she was still studying in terms of branding and other stuff. And just to help you in terms of events where we assist small business in events, we have a database where we allow people to register themselves with us. We call them the service providers, part of it, wherein you will need your certificate, your tax clearance, and then you'll be able to fill another form that we call it a service provider form. Mention your services that you do offer. If, for example, we are going to host an event somewhere, we are got supply chain, we need to identify maybe 5 service providers within that sector events so that we can get the quotation and appoint the relevant one amongst them. That's how we do business with people who are in the events. So we sometimes have exhibitions where people need to go and partition places and do other things, whether catering or other things. So we do. If you are more interested, you go to our reception desk and then you ask for service provider. They will ask you then which service do you offer. They will give you the relevant one, because we have got other ones that do marketings and other things. So they will ask you and they will give you the relevant one, whether they will email you these days. Then you need to comply and, you know, do the right thing, attach necessary documents such that we'll be able to have your profile with us. Then the other important thing is that you must be registered with CSD, Central Supplier Database, as we are also compelled by Treasury that every business that we do business with, it needs to be registered with CSD, Central Supplier Database, because we need to pull from that yes, this business is compliant. Okay? I hope I've just answered you.
Thank you, Mama. I think you have said a mouthful. I'm going to allow just one last question. Being mindful of the time, we still have a play that we need to get through or enjoy, and then be able to adjourn the session by 4 o'clock. So I'm going to allow just one last question from the gentleman at the top. Thank you, Sello, for that question.
Thank you very much. My name is Manong Mahogara Puchane.
Sorry?
My name is Manong Mahogara Puchane. I am from a company known as Motse Waraholo Village Reconstruct Projects. Our main objective is the business of invention research. So my question is, I want to ask all 3 of the guests down there. First of all, how do you reconcile business and tradition in this modern society? I'm asking this question because whenever I'm trying to open doors to ask and to market my business, I'm being told that that is an old tradition and just forget about that. And my main objective is to specialize in reconstructing the business mind. Today here, we are combined with artists and business. And earlier there was a question being asked, how do you reconcile business and art? Because we know artists as people who are singing and so on. I'm in art, but I'm writing documentaries. And I'm sending my message through Village Reconstruct Business Talk documentaries. So my last question again, I'm saying, how do you reconcile business and tradition, even going forward? And the other question is this issue of internet. Most of the time when we try to connect with internet, we've got these people who are trying to steal the ideas. And this issue of copyright, I think it must be our government, whoever is in charge, must make sure that copyright must be strictly adhered to. Thank you very much.
I don't know who's going to take on that question first. How do you reconcile business and tradition? Unless if you need more information from the gentleman so that you can better understand the question. Or is it fine? Do you understand the question?
I'll just answer the way I understand.
Okay.
And then I'll give the answer.
All right. Shoot.
Thank you, Papa, for your question. How do we reconcile business and arts? When you are in arts, you are in business already. That is reconciled. Whatever that you are doing, whether you are writing, whether you are singing,
So
you
that
are in
was-
business.
No, that was rather how do you reconcile business and tradition?
Or tradition.
Yes.
If you are talking about tradition, then it is large. I would say it's on a larger scale, because if you are saying tradition like is a culture, then what is it in tradition that you want to bring to the people so that it will be recognized? So you said you are writing. If I heard you well, you are writing. Part of tradition, it might be in writing. It might be that you are performing. So that's why I'm saying then I'm trying to say all these things is business. You are in business already. Maybe you will say, how do I take this business forward? How do I make sure that my business is well known, is recognized? How do I reach my target market? I think maybe with my knowledge, that's where I will come in and to say, you need to be able, as we are saying, when you start a business, you need to do research and find out who is your target market and how are you going to approach that target market. How are you going to package whatever that you want to bring to them, what you want to sell to them, so that it will be enticing for them to, grab it. So with me, I would say it will be best for you to find somebody, maybe, Papa, who is more younger, who can help you in terms of technology. But then you are right, you are in business, I would say.
If I may also put it this way, being mindful of the time, perhaps you need to first educate your audience. Because if you're going to sell a product that your audience does not understand, then you will not have any customers. Hence, people will say, but that's old-fashioned. So you need to educate your audience, have some CSI type of campaigns where you do things for free at schools and things, and let people buy into the idea of tradition first. And then you can be able to sell that product to the market. So in just a minute, I'll give you a minute each to just also add on to that and assist with answering the questions.
Okay, I understand his frustration when it comes saying tradition and things. In terms of nowadays, we love things that evolve in any ways. For example, we always get some artists that come to our studio saying when I record, they have a CD and a cassette. And in our studios don't have a CD and a cassette system. And they come and say, you do not want to attend to us. It's not about that. It's about evolving. So my advice that I can give you, say, is this. Let's keep the tradition, but let's find a way that we can evolve that system. Maybe it's the beats. Maybe we're now putting that the spade music in amapiano in a different way. Let's try to evolve. We're not telling you to change. We're telling you to evolve it in a different ways. That's why we need a team. That's what you were saying. It's all about a team. Because what I'm thinking is not the same thing that he's thinking. Is evolving in a different way. So the whole idea is just let's try to evolve in a way that we can incorporate everyone and keep the tradition. I'm always number one keeping the tradition. I always want to keep the way things are. But let's evolve. That's what I'm thinking.
Thank you, Mr. Matome. In a minute.
I think the answer there will always depend on which side of the coin you are at, what it is that you do, what kind of art are you talking about, what is the service offering that you do. In our case, I would link it more with relevance, like you said. Relevance reigns supreme, and relevance would involve tradition or culture or norms or whatever the case may be. The reality is research will play a very big part on understand the audience, or the group that you're dealing with. Even if it's the traditional setup, it might not necessarily be the same where Apple is compared to a banana. So I think the issue of research, the issue of consultations, the issue of intensive engagements actually reigns supreme. In our case, we are very big on, like I said, about us focusing on the disadvantaged communities. That's where we see it the most, because it gives us the opportunity of engaging with traditional leaders from the very beginning. If we go into Butogwa, you need to understand the cultural dynamics, the language, the way things are done, the way things are said. That is our way of celebrating different cultures across South Africa, because we always make sure that we are culture and language sensitive wherever we go. So it really depends on the kind of service offering you're looking at actually having with a particular group. Then once you understand what it is that actually makes that particular group tick, you are able to actually engage them on the level that will actually make more sense to them.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to my panel for the last time.